What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to talk about the differences between a 0-star quarterback and a 5-star quarterback, and some things that you could do if you're not a highly recruited player to get you to that highly recruited level at the quarterback position. Now, the first main difference we're going to discuss, you guys, is quick decision making. One of the problems that I see with a lot of quarterbacks who are maybe not as talented, not as highly recruited, is that they get almost like they rush when it comes to a pre-snap process and a pre-snap read. So they'll break the huddle or they'll get the signal in from the sideline, they come to the line of scrimmage and they're ready to run, and they snap the ball and then they go. Guys, you need to have something called a pre-snap process. And some of the top level quarterbacks, that yes, they're physically gifted, and we're going to talk about some of the traits from a physical standpoint throughout this video that some of the 5-star guys have when it comes to arm strength and accuracy and how you can improve that. But the mental side of the game is super important. When you're a high school quarterback and you go to a college camp, you realize that there are thousands of quarterbacks across the country that are big dudes, tall, can throw the ball with a lot of arm strength, and are super accurate. But what makes the difference between guys who are elite and guys who are not elite is what happens between the ears. So something I recommend to quarterbacks that helped me out a lot as a player was having a pre-snap process. And this process is very, very quick, and the more you do it, the easier it gets and the faster you get at it. But when you come up to the line of scrimmage and you have a play called, what I want to do is I want to look at the safeties, the corners, and then the box to determine what coverage it is. So let's say I see 2 high safeties, they're really wide. I look at the corners, they're pressed up, outside leverage, eyes are on me, and it's a 4-3 defensive front. That tells me, okay, it's cover 2. Now, if it's cover 2, let's say I have a play on the left side that's like a fade route from my outside receiver 5-yard out. Right side, I have a slant and then a bubble. Slant bubble won't work. Slant goes into the backers, bubble goes to the corner sitting in the flats. Corner stays in the flats on the 5-yard out on this side. I could throw the fade, but it's on a line. So I know exactly where to go, exactly the decision I need to make, and the exact defender I need to read, which would be the corner. And that process is something that you should be repping out in practice. So in a game, it's second nature, it's habit, and you can make quicker decisions and better decisions, because that's what's going to help you guys shred a defense, look good on film, and be able to stand out to coaches at the next level. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of this video, if you are a quarterback watching this or a receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So guys, if you go to that very first link in the description below, that is where you can sign up. Our next camp is going to be in San Francisco, California. Then we'll be coming out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina, Seattle, Washington after that, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Then we'll be coming out to Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, you want some more information, you want to sign up, again, very first link in that description below. All of our camps sell out, guys, 3 to 4 months in advance. We limit spots. We only take about 15 to 20 players per position group. So guys, make sure you take advantage of us having open spots. We started promoting it very, very early this year to give you guys as many chances as possible to sign up. So guys, very first link in that description below is where you can sign up to attend. We'd love to have you out there. Now, fellas, I'd be lying to you if I said that there wasn't some physical traits that those higher recruited 5-star guys have that the lower recruited 0-star guys don't have. And one of those is going to be arm strength. To be able to play at a Division I college level, you got to have arm strength. There are certain level throws that are like D1 level throws that they're going to want to see you make. Can you throw a comeback route to the outside receiver from the right hash as a right-handed quarterback, 15 back to 12? Can you throw a 10-yard speed out to the left side with velocity on time? Those are all throws that require D1 level arm strength, right? And a lot of times during the winter workout period, spring ball, college coaches come to high schools to recruit players, to recruit quarterbacks, receivers, whoever. And they'll ask those quarterbacks, hey, can you throw us some receivers? And they put them through a workout with college level throws. And they're seeing if you have the arm strength and the accuracy to play at the next level. So what can you do to improve your arm strength if you feel like you're not there, or you're a younger player and you want to get there? So it comes down to 2 things. What you do in the gym and your throwing mechanics. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of throwing mechanics, what you should think about in terms of arm strength, and then we'll talk about some stuff you can do in the gym to improve those elements of your mechanical throw and mechanical sequence, which will give you more arm strength on the field. So first things first, when it comes down to arm strength, it's really about your base, your hips, and your shoulders. Those are the key points, right? So in your base, you want to have, I would say, think of it like a baseball swing for those of you guys that are baseball players. That's honestly how quarterbacks increase their arm strength, is think of it like a baseball swing. So you're in your batting stance, nice and light on your front foot. Your weight should be stacked, head, knee, and foot stacked on top of each other in a column, right? So now what happens when you stride, you want to keep the bat back, if you will, which means your shoulders and the football need to load back. Not a ton, just slightly. slightly, and you keep your weight in that back position. Your goal when you stride is to keep your back foot under your armpit. So now that allows me to dissociate, which essentially means my upper body is going opposite from my lower body. And that pull that you feel right here, when you decide to rotate through with your hips, that's something called torque. Torque is how we get power on the ball. So I'm back like this, I stride, weight stays back, shoulders go back, hips bring me through. If the elbow and the ball are behind this back hip and your front hip is rotating through, we're gonna get more power on the ball. So, what are some things you could do in the gym to improve that? Core strength is super important. Anything for your abs, anything for your core. I like Russian twists, which is great because obviously we're trying to rotate, so that helps us with more power on the ball. Anything explosive involving your core helps too. If you have a medicine ball, you could stand facing a wall, rotate and slam, because that explosive movement is similar to what we want to do, and we want to put velocity on the ball, so it's increasing that fast twitch. Then strengthening your legs. A lot of QBs can't get to that stack position because their legs are weak. They have a natural knee cave, they're not very strong in their quads, their glutes, their hamstrings, so doing squats, front squats, single leg squats like Bulgarian split squats, all that stuff will be great and will translate to arm strength. So if you need to improve in those areas, that's what I recommend to get you to that higher level. So fellas, now let's talk about accuracy, right? So like you could have all the arm strength in the world, but if you can't hit a receiver or a moving target, like you're not really going to be able to play at a high level. Like you look at a lot of high school players who are very highly recruited, their completion percentage is insanely high because they're very, very accurate. So there are two things that I want you to worry about in terms of accuracy to improve your accuracy. That's going to be your front side, and a great trigger phrase that you could think about when throwing to an actual moving receiver that'll help you be more consistent. A lot of people are good at throwing to stationary targets, but what can you do when a receiver is actually moving, right? So first thing you want to think about, guys, is your front side in terms of your hand and your front elbow and your shoulder. So a lot of times QBs who miss behind receivers or too far in front have a wild front shoulder. They'll stay back, their hips will rotate through, but this front shoulder pulls open same time their hips are opening, and that causes something called an over-rotation. So an over-rotation pulls your arm off of the midline of your body, and you're almost coming across your frame, and that's why you miss left to right. You guys want to think when you throw, you want your shoulders to stay parallel to the target so your release can stay inside your frame. Again, it doesn't need to be way high. Don't want it to be crazy wide either. Like somewhere in this range. A lot of people talk about like sidearm throws and arm slots. Like I'm not really a guy who's going to tell you to change that. I just need it inside your frame, and can you be accurate, right? And I think that's how most people feel at the next level, because a lot of college coaches don't necessarily try to change their quarterback's mechanics. If they're accurate and they're good, throw the ball on time, not going to try to mess around with the arm slot. They just want you to throw the ball on time, right? But for accuracy purposes, try to stay disciplined with the shoulder. Now, a lot of QBs who miss high, what they'll do is they'll stay level, but this front elbow comes down to their hip and their hand drops, and that's what pushes your shoulder up. It's like a teeter-totter. You guys, more weight goes on this side of the teeter-totter, what happens? The other side goes up. Same thing with your shoulders. You go there, right? So what you want to think about is your front hand stays up by your face like you're eating a sandwich. If you could keep your front hand somewhere in this general vicinity and keep your shoulders parallel, that release won't be outside your frame, and then it's just really about flicking your wrist and extending for accuracy, okay? Now, let's talk about a phrase that you could think about when you have a receiver who's moving. Let's say you got down the front side, you got down the hand, but you're still not that accurate. You're struggling with timing or hitting a moving target. Something I tell my quarterbacks to do, focus on driving the ball. Don't try to place the ball and throw it lightly. Drive the ball to the receiver's upfield number. So if he's running over the middle like this, the number on the front of his jersey, you're keyed in on that number. That's where your eyes should be, head should stay still, and we're driving it to that upfield number. We're not trying to float it or place it or lead him, drive it to the upfield number. And if you can think about that, I truly feel you'll be more accurate when throwing to moving targets. Now, the next difference I want to talk about from 0-star guys to 5-star guys is really the ability to extend the play. So what do I mean by that? So guys, I watch a lot of film on quarterbacks, on receivers, high school players, college players, NFL guys, and the biggest difference I see from high school quarterbacks who are maybe not as highly recruited and quarterbacks who are very highly recruited, who are similar in size, similar in arm strength, accuracy, all that stuff, is the big 5-star guys, like, they make plays that coaches don't necessarily expect you to make. It's not a part of the offense, and that comes down to extending the play. Like, guys, there are thousands of quarterbacks across the country, and we've seen them, that could take a 3-step drop and throw a post, can take a 3-step drop and a hitch and throw an in route or a corner route. There are not thousands of quarterbacks who could take a drop, buy some time in the pocket, and still be able to throw. Get out of the pocket, throw on the run, and extend the play. Those are things that you have to work on if you want to get to the next level. Make plays that they're not expecting you to make. If your offense is designed 3-step drop and throw, okay, cool. 3-step drop, reset your feet, throw. Cool, they expect you to do that. And again, if your team is just that good and you don't necessarily have the time to make those extended plays, like, that's fine. You know, I understand that, but extending the play is something you need to have at a collegiate level, because you're going to have to do that at the collegiate level. So when you are training, you need to work these types of throws. Instead, like, let's say you go out to the field with a couple of your friends, they're receivers, and you guys are going through the route tree, right? And let's say you do, like, each receiver runs 2 of each route. Let's say we're working a post route on the left. First rep, you take a normal 3-step drop and throw, because yes, you have to work that. How about on the second rep, I take a 3-step drop and I step up in the pocket and throw. So I get used to those uncomfortable throws, because that's the only way that you complete it in a game. You have to be so comfortable being uncomfortable with certain off-platform and uncomfortable throws that in a game, you don't even think about it. You just do it. So that's the biggest difference. And if you're on your film, on your highlight tape, because that's what gets you recruited, especially by those bigger schools, if you can showcase that you have those types of plays and you can make those types of plays, you will get attention from college coaches.